If you want to start FIFA 16 with an amazing squad, the link is in the description for cheap and safe coins. And for cheap games and codes, link is also in the description. Hey guys, my name is SOETIE and welcome to this Tiki Taka tutorial. Before we go further, make sure to drop a like to this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And in the description you can find a tutorial playlist full of FIFA 16 tutorials. In this tutorial I'm gonna explain to you how I score these amazing Tiki Taka goals. After the basics I have a couple of techniques to show you, such as the Middleman Technique, but also how to use the new driven ground passes in the Tiki Taka playstyle, which you can see on screen now. By the way, if you want to see my nicest Tiki Taka goals, there is also a link into the description to my top 25 Tiki Taka goals. It is certainly worth to watch, but let's start with the basics of Tiki Taka play now. Basically, the basics to passing is that you should always try to pass into the direction your player is facing. My player is facing the right, therefore you should pass it to the right. That doesn't mean it has to go directly to the right, but as a rule of thumb on FIFA 16, keep the pass between 45 degrees. I call this the 45-degree rule, so try and keep the pass between the yellow lines on the screen. If you do this, you will have very consistent passing, and if you want to pass to the left, nevertheless, then first turn to the left and then pass to the left. Everyone is passing directly into the direction they were facing, and you can see some very quick passes. The last pass failed because the player was marked actually, and the player is now facing to the right. That means the only option I can pass to was the guy in the blue circle, and this is what happens if you pass it into the direction your player is facing. You're gonna get very quick and accurate passes. The best technique of playing Tiki Taka is the Middleman Technique. We want to pass it to Marcelo, but we can only give the red pass. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use the Middleman Technique. We first pass it back and then he can pass it forward, and that is a very good technique of playing Tiki Taka. The great thing about this technique, if we pass it to the middleman, then before he gets the ball he's already looking to the right side. So before that middleman got the ball, he was already facing the right, and if you're facing the right, that means you can pass to the right. My player is facing to the left, that means I cannot pass it to the guy in the yellow circle. But luckily the middleman is facing to the right, so if we pass it back first to the middleman, we can see that he is indeed already facing the right. And that means he can give the pass if we apply the 45-degree rule of thumb forward. And then we finish it off with James Rodriguez. Nice goal. Not really Tiki Taka, but you can see I use this Middleman Technique in every attack I ever play. So it doesn't necessarily have to be Tiki Taka. I use the Middleman Technique in literally every match I play. It's a basic passing technique, but if we use this in Tiki Taka play, we can score some amazing goals indeed. Even with the goalkeeper we use it. We first pass it back. He's facing the right, and that means that he can pass it forward. We use the driven ground pass there. We will get into more detail about that in a couple of minutes. But then we use the Middleman Technique again. We get one-on-one with the goalkeeper. We finish that off indeed. So the problem is that if your player is facing backwards, he cannot pass it forward. Then we need to pass it back. When we pass it back, the ball will get to the middleman, who will be facing forward, and that means that he can give the pass we need. And if your players always pass into the direction they are facing, that means we can do some very quick and accurate passing. We can see the Middleman Technique here 3 times in a row. Look at that, even one more time. In the end we did not finish that, but have a look at that. That was so quick passing, and the opponent actually did defend that, but of course we get the goal there nevertheless indeed. The last example of the Middleman Technique, we pass it back, then he can pass it forward. We do it yet again. We pass it back, he can pass it forward, and we do keep doing that. In the end we get an incredible goal, I believe. But let's get now into the next section, which I call the layoff technique. The layoff technique is a technique which will keep your passing fluid. Let's just look at an example and see what I'm talking about. We want to pass the ball in front of the player, and therefore we pass with a true pass to make sure we can keep our passing fluid and quick. Look at the space here, we want to pass it in front of the player. Therefore we use a true pass again, and the attack is quick and fluid because of that. If we do not use a true pass here, the ball will just go straight to the player we pass to, and we cannot go forward that quickly as we are now. We will see a couple of more examples where we see the driven ground pass here, which we will get into the next section. But let's see some more examples where I use the layoff technique. We see here straight from the kickoff we're going to perform a great tiki taka attack, and we're going to pass it to the side now, but I wanted that pass to be in front of the player, and therefore I used the through ball. And look at that, the passing play is so quick, the passing play is so fluid because I used the through ball there, and we actually get an amazing tiki taka goal straight from the kickoff. We pass it right here, we use a through pass to lay that off to the player, and therefore the ball gets in front of him and we get some very fluid passing going. So sometimes you want to use a through pass button right here, the through pass button. We pass that in front of Iniesta, and therefore Iniesta could pass that first touch forward. Let's look at that again one more time in the replay. The through pass here gets the ball in front of Iniesta, and therefore Iniesta was able to pass that first touch into Neymar. For a driven ground pass, you need to face almost directly to the player you want to pass to. So now, not the 45-degree rule, but the almost 0-degree rule. To perform a driven ground pass, hold R1 on PlayStation or RB on Xbox and simply pass. And we can see here I used another driven ground pass. We used the Middleman technique right now, and then we used, I think, even the layoff pass, but in the end we did not get the goal, which I do think we did deserve. So the main point when using driven ground passes is it's not the 45-degree rule anymore, you need a 0-degree rule. I'm almost directly facing to the player I want to pass to, and then I am gonna pass that first touch driven ground pass, and we can indeed perform some amazing very quick passing and accurate as well, because that's very important. 2 driven ground passes in a row. Look at how quick that passing was, and in the end you got 1-on-1 so quickly with Suarez because the opponent was so confused. It was so quick for him. 1, 2, 3 driven ground passes there. We get 1-on-1 with Messi. Well, not 1-on-1, but we did do a great attack, and in the end we do actually get 1-on-1 and we get the goal there indeed. Driven ground pass here, we pass it back, Middleman technique, a driven ground pass again. And then R2 run, I maybe did try to do that a little bit too fancy, and the cross there may have not been the best choice after all. Driven ground pass here, we almost were directly facing to the player we wanted to pass to, and we finished it off with a great 1-2 combination, on which the next topic will be how to play tiki taka with 1-2 combinations. Well, the key of this technique is to use regular passes after you perform a 1-2 combination. So do not pass with through balls, but actually pass the ball back with the regular pass buttons. On Xbox that is the A button, and on PlayStation that is actually the X button. So you do set up a 1-2 with the L1 or LB button, and after that you return the pass with a regular pass, so not with the through ball. We return the pass with the regular pass button, and then we actually pass it another time across the goal to Sergio Busquets. I think that was amazing vision there by Busquets in the first place with that pass, and then by Messi in the second place to see that he could return that pass. And we see here again all regular passes. We get that very easy tapping goal, great passing goal with Real Madrid. And here we set up again another time the 1-2 combination, but we only use regular passes, and therefore we are able to score an amazing tiki taka goal. Do not force tiki taka, you will limit yourself too much. My player is facing to the left, but look at the space of the player in the blue circle. We can't ignore that, we have to make the turning pass. The pass may be slower and inaccurate, but it doesn't matter because the player was in that much space, and here we do it again. But this is the where the attack accelerated when we use that 0-degree passing, the Middleman technique, but we use some more turning passes because the players were in that much space. You should also not always try to pass the ball all the way into the goal. If you do a great tiki-taka build-up, you can also go for the cross in the end. But that's going to be the end of this tutorial, guys. Make sure to drop a like if you enjoyed, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. My name is SOETIE, see you next time.
Tiki Taka!